bought a Halloween costume. This is not.
All right.
This
So
is just a costume.
what was the trick to find inverse?
You have to switch the x's and y's.
Correct. And remember, this is our y, right? So we switch the x and a y. So we rewrite this as x equals 2/3 y minus 1/3. Okay? And then we solve for y. So what's the first step?
Add the 1/3 to the side.
Correct. So we're going to add 1/3 to both sides. What we say yesterday when we have a fraction with our variable?
Multiply by the
Yeah, multiply by the reciprocal. And remember, we're multiplying both of these by 3/2, right? We're distributing. Okay? So this is 3/2 x plus 1/2 equals y, which we end up changing to f inverse, right? That's all you do. Now, it also said we were supposed to graph these, right?
Right.
Again, you guys should be able to graph. Okay, so if I'm looking at this red equation, what's the y-intercept? 1/2, right? All right, so 1/2 would be about here, right? And then what's my slope?
3 over
Up 3, 1, 2, 3, and over 2, right? So it's about here. If I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, I can go left 2. That's about there. So there's that line. All right, we'll make this one here, we'll make it green. What's the y-intercept?
half.
No.
Negative 1/3.
Negative 1/3. So that's about there, right? And then my slope is up 2. 1, 2, and over 3, right? Or down 2 and left 3. Should be about there. Oops, I missed that one, but that will, remember our y equals x line is where it reflects. That's kind of right through there. If I fold it along that dashed line, we'd get that red and green one on top of each other, wouldn't we? If I had graph paper and drew it really nice, right? But that's what happens when you graph when it should reflect about that dashed y equals x line. Okay? Any questions on that type of problem? Okay, let's go over our homework. We had the evens, right?
Yeah.
So number 2 was what, Mr. Collins? Number 2. You got 19? What'd you get when you solved for x? You were supposed to just solve for x for those, right? So what fraction did you get? What are you going to do? Remember, they told you to make this y, but solve for x, right? You're going to add 2 and do what? You're going to add 2 and do what? Spencer, louder. Thank you. All right. So this is going to be y plus 2 over -7 when you solve for x. Right, Sydney? Right, Connor? Okay? That's what they asked you to do, isn't it? Isn't that what we did yesterday? Yeah. Okay? It says then put -3 in place of what? The y, right? So we put a -3 here. -3 plus 2 is -1. Divided by -7 is positive 1/7. That's number 2. Both of these answers. Okay? That's what it asks you to do. Cole, what'd you get for number 4?
I got x equals 6.
Yes. What was x equals fraction?
I had -3 seconds. Come on, Gabe.
Well, that was part of it. Where's your y at?
I have no idea. Okay, where's my Wait, so what was the answer?
6 was the right number. The fraction is x equals -3y minus 3 over 2. Okay. Anybody need to see that one? Yeah. So again, we're putting y here and solving for x, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to subtract 1. So it'll be y minus 1 equals -2/3 x. So how are we going to get rid of the -2/3? Yeah. -3/2, right? All right, so you get -3/2 y plus 3/2. Okay, which the book wrote -3y plus 3. They wrote it like this, since it was the same denominator. And then you're supposed to put -3 in again for all of these. So -3 times -3 is +9. Plus 3 is 12 divided by 2. So then you got the 6, which Cole had told us. Okay. Number 6. Let's look at that one too. All right. 2x to the 4th minus 5. All right. So we're supposed to solve for x. So we're going to add 5. Okay. What do I do with that 2?
Divide first.
Yeah. Divide first. Yeah.
Your attention, please. This announcement is for high schoolers, grades 9 through 12. If you were planning to have a spring photo
So
taken,
what do I do to get rid of that
them now
exponent of a
or
4?
before 10 o'clock. At 10
Fourth
o'clock,
root. Yeah.
they start to close down. So if you are a high school student and are planning to have your spring photo taken, please go to the main gym within the next 40 minutes to have that done.
So the answer that whole fraction is under the 4th root symbol. Okay. So then we're supposed to put what number in for y? What number are we putting in for y? -3, right? What's -3 plus 5? 2. What's 2 divided by 2? 1. So what's the 4th root of 1?
1.
Why do I have to put plus or minus? the odd part, say the other part. It's got an even root, right? When it's square root or fourth root or sixth root, when it's even, positive or negative answer works. No.
Is negative 3 just always what you plug in, or did you get
That- That's what these directions said. Yeah. For these, I went to a different page. But it said to use, the direction said to use that, but it might change on a quiz or some other problem. But for all of those, it said to use negative 3. But it could tell us to use any number. Okay? Is this making better sense now?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8, we might as well do that. X minus 5 cubed minus 1. Okay, so we're going to add the 1 to solve for x. So how do I get rid of that cube?
You have to the square root the cube root.
Cube root it, right? All right, so now I have the cube root of y plus 1, and then just x minus 5 now, right? Is it finished? No, I do have to do what? Yeah, move the 5 over. How do I move it over? Add it, right? So that's what it looks like when you solve for x. Then if you put negative 3 in here, that's what? Negative 2? So it's a cube root of negative 2 plus 5, which there is no real cube root of negative 2, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, if it was just negative 2, yeah, it's just a cube root of negative 2 plus 5. There is no real, it's not a perfect cube, I guess is what I'm saying. If it was like a cube root of negative 8, then we could say it's negative 2 plus 5 and get 3. Right?
Maybe that's what I did. Maybe that's
All right.
I'm lying.
All right.
You're lying right now.
Again, finding the inverse, we switch the x and the y, right? So number 10 was negative 1/3 x. F inverse of x equals negative 1/3 x. Number 12,
My mom wants to go to the first time. She wants to go to the first time. Tomorrow's not promised day, right? Tomorrow is the day of technically, yeah. Not as
number 12 is x plus 3 over 6. Number 14 is 3x plus 3. And 16 is 5x minus 1 over negative 4. Any of those you'd like me to go over? Caleb, you want me to do any of those?
No, I did pretty good on all of them.
Good. Anybody?
I mean, you want to briefly go over the number?
10? Yeah. Sure. So we got f of x equals negative 3x. That's right there, right?
Wasn't being dumb. You never dumb, dude.
Okay, so there's our problem. Remember, we're thinking that's y equals negative 3x, right? F of x and y we interchange. Okay? To find the inverse, we make y x and the x y. So we rewrite it like that and then we solve for y. So all we have to do is, yeah. Right, so you can leave it like that. The book wrote it like this, which we're going to write as f inverse, right?
Okay, so I was right.
But if you leave it like I have written here, x over -3, that's okay, that's acceptable. You don't have to make it like the book did, -1/3 there. Okay? And then you were supposed to graph those. You guys should be able to graph, right?
Right.
Just slope and y-intercept. So I'm not so worried about the graphing part. Just being able to find the inverse. Okay? Any other questions about inverses? Okay? All we're doing is switching x and y and solving for y. Alright, those are the types of problems we'll do from this section. Okay? I'm not gonna worry about the graph part. Okay? So, let's practice another one. Let's do number 13 here. Right now for practice. Find the inverse.
I'll say number 13.
You don't have to graph it, just find the inverse of that function, number 13. And then we'll go over it here in a minute. Connor, number 13. Find its inverse, please.
Nothing. Can you answer it? No. What did I say was wrong? What did I say? All done.
Ben, why is my thing capitalized?
You're Caleb.
Dude, my thing's capitalized. You did this.
I didn't.
Well, you didn't tell me Polar Express. I didn't do it. What?
I love dumbfounding. It'd be 2 over, so that original. So the original one was -1 to 2. You're gonna do -2 once. I can't look that up with my phone. Why? Because it's gonna go through their server again. The whole tech department is saying it's gonna.
Well, I can try to get it.
We have everything on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you don't want that Wednesday.
Not Herbert Peterson. You talk a whole lot, but you say almost nothing. That's such an insult. Talk a lot, but say nothing. That's a Family Guy reference. How I like hybrid bonded them together. I put Herbert and I put Carter Peterson. That's all I can do. That's a lie, right? Yeah. That's the next one. Why are you laughing?
Her Gatorade, Evan, but
We ready?
Yeah. The 2 kids waited.
All right. So, negative 1/2 x plus 4. Okay, so there's our original function, right?
Yeah.
So I have to rewrite it as y, the y as x, and the x as a y, right? So what do I do first?
Take the 4 and get it to the right.
Subtract 4, good. Then what?
And you have to multiply by reciprocal.
Right, multiply by negative 2, right? This whole thing, right? So that's negative 2x plus 8 equals f inverse, right? We get that?
Yes, sir.
Making sense? Does anybody have any question on finding inverses? Okay. So, try this problem. Do number 1 there. Number 1.
You want to play LMHS Minecraft?
Is that big enough for you guys to see?
High school?
I can make it bigger, I think. There we go. Number 1. F of g of 7. Composition of functions.
Is this what we did now? You done? What game came? Don't tell me that.
You could do it in your head. Number 1 up there. Good.
Here's what we did. Well, the first one you put in for G, so 7 goes into G, goes to G at the top, and then that answer goes in. That's G.
Right. Half done.
Yeah, right here. I'm feeling some statistics.
I'm sorry.
3 times.
That's the tattoo I want. I've known I've wanted it for a while.
3 times 3, 9 1.
Was, but like not as much as everyone else. But
3 times 3, still.
every other guy.
Alright, I got it.
Yeah.
Are you someone that
Did you have 1 there?
I took off the
No, actually. You put 7 in.
He's not gonna beat you in the run.
All right, everybody, what'd you get? 10. Okay, let's do number 3. Number 1 was 10. Very good. Let's do number 3.
I'll do number 3. Stop.
You gotta stop, man.
Yeah, it's -3. Yeah, in my head. For G. Wait, no, I did the wrong one. I did all of 3. Yeah, we did 3.
Number 3. I don't think I got that.
Good. -7. No. I got -3.
That's crazy.
It really is.
Throw
Caleb is so cool. Okay.
You guys got -3?
Yeah.
Just okay.
I got -3.
All right.
We can take the test.
So we put -1 here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's -3 plus what? -2. -2 squared is +4 minus, yeah, that's -2. That's right. Let's do 6 with the fraction.
Traditional mathematics.
Number 6.
I love that.
H of 1/2.
Wait, which one?
I'm sorry, 6. H of 1/2.
1/2 squared.
Whoa. I didn't hear that. No. What happened? What is what happened?
You did that right, Sydney.
Oh wait. Sydney's wrong.
So what's the answer? I don't want to compare my answers to everybody. Cool. Caleb, you
I got. Don't worry about it.
Wait, what is the answer?
It's a crazy looking one.
Okay. Okay, let's.
Yeah, I don't think that's right. When you're multiplying by a decimal, your answer will be 12.
Well, I was multiplying by a fraction.
Oh, that explains why you got a bigger answer.
Gotcha, buddy.
So the first 1/2 is what?
A 38.
I don't know if it lets me write on this.
Hey, man, do you want to see my answer? Yeah.
It's what? Oh, this.
No, I didn't get that. That was wrong.
All right, so the first H,
Yeah, I'm going to do numbers. 5 minus 7. Don't forget things.
right?
Then you square that down.
Right, then you're gonna square that. So what you're putting in, then you're doing that, right?
Right. So, yeah.
Which came out to, what'd you have, the decimal?
It was like 617 over 18.
That was a fraction, right? You said over 18?
Yeah. It was
38 point something?
38.5625.
We'll just round it to tenths. Okay? So far so good? All right, let's go down.
You just do the equation twice.
Right. All right, let's do, number 9 for 9a. Do 9a, f of g of x.
Do 9a, so after g, find the f of gx of 9. Can we get a little refresher on the start of it?
Yeah,
I'm at a loss here. Hold on.
That's why we're practicing.
Well, I don't know how to
Yeah, I
start.
can't really.
Sophia will help you.
You put the g, so you put the g of x in
I do it
the
right.
You want to know or not? I can leave you to do it on your own. Look at the box, dude. What? Is there like a solid ever? No, it was
We're gonna do the long way around.
That's why I feel like
That stays in
like
time, just that.
you put it in for 6x.
Which part goes in bottom?
I don't.
Just that.
So.
That's
I know that.
just.
I'll have. What? Yeah.
36 over that.
All right, so Vincent, what do you do?
That is an awesome question. I don't know.
What's g of x?
6x plus 1.
Right. Where do I put it?
X into 3x minus 2.
Because it's f of g of x we're doing, right? So f of 6x plus 1 is what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
We substitute 6x plus 1 for the g of x, right? That's what it is. So this is going to be 6 times 6x plus 1 to the negative 1. What do we do when we see that negative 1 exponent?
From the bottom.
Put it on the bottom, right? Because we don't like that negative 1 exponent. We want to make it a positive. So this is going to be 6 over 6x plus 1. Can I factor anything out of that denominator? No, you can't. Right? If I could factor out maybe a 2 or a 3 or a 6, then I could, cancel some stuff, reduce, right? But that's all I could do. Now, it says stuff about domain, right? What do we say the bottom's not allowed to be? 0. So we write, right? So we subtract 1. And then what? Divide by 6. So our domain is all real numbers except what? Except negative 1, 6. Okay? Remember that? All right, let's try one more of these, and we'll call it a day. Let's do 11, and let's do g of f of x this time.
G of x.
Okay?
Which one?
Number 11. I'll move it so you guys can see a little better. Oops, I got to go back to my arrow. Oh, that didn't work, did it? We're doing 11. I don't know if I can get that part to move up. No? All right. So,
Number 1. Not even funny. Number 1.
that's what we're doing.
What we do is you put the inside out. So you put the F, the value of X, the slide, and that. So then you do the G part. So then you put your F on the F X, and so where the X will be the G.
We ready? Okay, so we're taking this and putting it where? Right in there, right? So this is the square root of negative 2x plus 5 and then minus 9, right? So all I have to do to simplify is what?
Put the two numbers variables together.
The like terms together, right? Which are the negative, the 5 minus 9, which is negative 4. So, okay, now, since it's square root, we're talking about domains, what numbers don't we like?
We don't think circle variance. Circle.
Okay? We don't want what type of numbers under a square root or a fourth root? Negatives, right? So it should be greater than or equal to 0, right?
Right.
My domain for the x's. So I'd add 4. And then divide by negative 2, what happens?
You flip the
Yeah, so it'd be x less than or equal to negative 2. All right, so
So you always do equalities when it comes to radicals?
to the radical. Would I have to worry about it for 12?
No, not quite.
No, because it's an odd index, right?
Yeah.
So, no homework tonight.
No homework.
Okay,
So is that-
good job. Thanks for participating on the practice.
So 1 power